Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. There has been a lot of people joining the party in these last few weeks and I've been getting a lot of the same questions and comments, so I thought why not just make a Q&A video. So in this video I'm gonna answer some of your questions. We have some questions about finances, a lot of questions about where I am, what my plans are about Bulgaria. There's some weird questions coming at the end as well, so let's just dive in. First question, what's my age and what is my plan for senior years? Do I have money saved up for old age? Very good question. I am 40, almost 41 actually. I don't have any money saved up for my old age because I don't know if I'm gonna be alive then. My plan, if I reach 65, then in Slovenia I'm gonna be by default be getting pension, probably the smallest pension that I can have, which is I think as of right now a little bit less than 500 euros or maybe around 500 euros, something like that. But that's in 25 years. Who knows if there's going to be pensions? I kind of doubt it. So I'm not really counting on that. My plan is that when I buy my own property, that's gonna be my investment and is gonna be how I'm gonna be making a living. I'm not gonna reveal the whole plan. I already did in some other videos, but I definitely plan to cash in on my property basically. So we'll see how that goes. Are you from Slovenia? Yes, I am. Could you buy that property in Bulgaria or just rent it? I think this was a comment under the property where I'm staying now. I could actually buy this place because I think it's gonna go on the market in a couple of weeks or months. That's what the owner said, but I don't have this much money. The property I'm searching for needs to be um like probably 5 times less. Is going to be a renovation project and is going to be a different sort of property. I want to have enough space to create what I want. I want to have enough wiggle room to design the place how I want it, and I don't want a finished house. See what I mean? I'm also not renting this place. I'm staying here for free because I'm taking care of the property and I'm taking care of the cats. So it's like an exchange. So yeah, I think that answers the question. How do I find landlords who let me stay in their homes for free? Very good question. I began to find them on a work exchange or volunteer platform called Workaway. You have a lot of different projects there, including house sits and pet sits in Bulgaria and all around the world. By the way, if you want to use the platform, I have a link in the description and you get some months for free, I think. This is not sponsored in any way, it's just something that I use. So yeah, go ahead and use that. But as I'm staying in Bulgaria longer and longer, I meet people here, so it's also like word of mouth. Also, I was staying in a place for a month where an English couple reached out to me via YouTube. People also reach out to me on Instagram. So I'm starting to get offers. I don't even need the platform anymore. This last one I found on Facebook. So everywhere. But Facebook groups I think are really good for this. There's a lot of opportunities there, not just for Bulgaria, but all around the world. Okay, we're going to talk about relationships now. This is a lot of questions were about relationships and partners and family and things like that. So let's condense them all together. First one, what about a partner to share all this good with? Then there was, do you want a partner and kids? Are you planning to settle down in Bulgaria with a partner and potential family, or are you just living life and whatever comes? Are you in a romantic relationship? There was another one. Oh, and how was your dating life? So let me start with this. How was my dating life? I'm assuming that the person is wanting to know about my past. Yeah, in the past, my dating life was very interesting. I was dating a lot in my 20s and maybe like early 30s. Especially when I was living in Ljubljana, I was in a period where I was not in a very good mental place. So I was seeking validation through not just relationships or like men or dating, but just kind of like from the social environment. So I was socializing a lot, even though it was very exhausting. I probably haven't been on a date for 5 years now, or more than 5 years, maybe six, probably since before the pandemic. I would say maybe since 2019, 2020, something like that. So yeah, that's just briefly. Then about partner, family. Um, do I want a partner and kids? Kids, no. I've never wanted kids since I was a teenager. I knew that I'm not gonna have kids. I just don't feel it. Never have. My maternal instinct never kicked in. I just feel like to bring up kids in this world, like you have to be so much aware of how you are, like what you are teaching them, because they pick up everything. And I don't know a single person that isn't traumatized by their parents. So I just don't want to traumatize another person. So I just like, yeah, gave up on that idea to have kids. Do I want a partner? Yes, I want a partner. Not necessarily in like a romantic sense. I would be very happy to just live with friends, which is kind of the plan, to build a community and get some like-minded people around me, or like neighbors. Yeah, there's just other kind of partnerships than just romantic ones, and I just don't really see that much value in a romantic relationship right now, but who knows in 5 years, or if I meet a person, yeah. And that kind of answers the the other question that was about if I'm planning to have a partner. I don't know how you plan to have a partner. I feel it that if you meet someone, it just kind of happens. That's how it was pretty much every other time in my life. When I least expected it, I would meet someone. But planning to have a partner, no, I'm not planning to have a partner. Or for family, yeah, like I already have a family, so I would like that family to be coming and visiting me in Bulgaria. Hopefully this summer some of my favorite people are gonna come, because no one has been in Bulgaria before and they don't understand why I'm here. So I would definitely like to be surrounded by people, but at the same time I really want my space. So I'm gonna design my house in a way where I can have a completely separate space from all the guests and people who are gonna be coming and staying. So I think that's like super important for me. Am I in a romantic relationship right now? I think I already answered that question, that no, I am not in a romantic relationship. By the way, my last video was all about relationships, why I'm doing this alone, how I see relationships, friendships. Yeah, so if you haven't yet, watch that. Moving on. Someone wrote, I want a life like yours too. Can you help me? I think you don't really know a lot about my life, because maybe if you knew everything about my life, you wouldn't want it. And I think you shouldn't. I think you should want the life that you want, not that somebody else has. So I don't know if I can help you with that. I think you just need to get clear on what you actually want, like you want, not that you like see someone else is happy with. I did a lot of different things in my life to kind of like test out what I want. So I don't know how old you are, where you live, like what your options are. It's so hard to give any kind of advice to someone that you know nothing about. Like it just doesn't make any sense. You need to do what you feel is right. And that's the only thing. Like you can just follow your heart and your intuition, not your brain. Your brain will, yeah, your brain has been programmed, so don't listen to your brain, listen to your heart. You will always know where to go and what to do. That's all the advice I can give. What about health protection? I'm assuming the person meant insurance. Yes, I have health insurance. Before moving to Bulgaria, I had it in Slovenia, and now since I have residency in Bulgaria, I switched to Bulgarian insurance because it's 3 times cheaper. I haven't used it yet, so I don't know if it works or what is covered. I will update you on that as I know more. Why leave beautiful Slovenia? Okay, a lot of the questions were about, yeah, why I chose Bulgaria. There was one, welcome to Bulgaria. Thank you so much. Why did you choose exactly our country? So yeah, why didn't I stay in Slovenia? Like, in the last 10, 13 years, I lived a lot abroad. I lived in Paris, I lived in London, I lived in Spain. I also like worked and lived on a cruise ship. So it's not that this is my first time abroad. It's not like I left Slovenia because I don't love my country. I absolutely love Slovenia. It is very safe, it is very clean, it is beautiful, the nature, it's pristine. There, you know, the economy is good, the people are generally good, things are of high standard and high quality, but that can also be a downside. The thing is, I came to a point where I was like, okay, I would really like to have my own space where I can be super creative and do whatever I want, design it however I want, and yeah, host my own people. I want my own space to cook, I want my own space to write, I want my own space to do yoga. Like all these places where I'm staying, they're nice, but they are just not how I would create my living space. Like my living space gonna be a little bit crazy, but yeah, I just need a very stimulating, inspiring space and very peaceful and quiet. Basically, I realized that in Slovenia I would never be able to afford to buy something that's gonna be mine. Either I would have to take a big loan or a mortgage, which I would be paying until the day I die, basically. But I can't even do that because I quit my job, so that nobody's gonna give me money. um, so I was looking into options where I could find real estate that I can actually afford and pay with cash, like the money that I have saved up. And Bulgaria popped up. It's been 5 years since I first heard about Bulgaria and was researching the real estate market. And so then, after coming here and experiencing it and really feeling that this is somewhere where it could become my home, that really changed everything. I moved here 1 year ago, and it hasn't been a day here that I wouldn't feel like this is my home. Like I said, like I lived in other places before, I've traveled a lot, and there aren't many places where I could just be like, everywhere in Bulgaria I go, I feel like home. And people make me feel like home. That's also very important. It's very rare in these days that the local people would be so welcoming of foreigners. It's changing also, but not as rapidly as in some places like UK or Spain or Portugal. I've already made a few videos. I'm gonna link where I explain a little bit broadly why specifically Bulgaria, but yeah, that's just shortly. It's like the culture is similar. I can understand the language. Real estate is cheap. It's beautiful. People are nice. Yeah, that's why. And then another segment of question was a lot about my how I finance this living, what I do for work. So some of the questions are, what do I do for a living? How do I earn a living here? Do I work remote? Someone wrote, hi, I wonder where you get the money for such a life, for basic purchases, fuel, and so on. Are your earnings on YouTube enough to be free? No, definitely not, especially in the recent months. For last month, so the payment that I'm receiving in a few days is 80 euros. It's something, of course. but it's definitely not enough. I'm gonna make a whole video on how much I spend per month. It's gonna be in the next video. So if you're interested in that, you're gonna learn everything about how I finance everything. But just like to answer these questions, what do I do for a living so I don't have a job? I used to be an editor, journalist, creative director. I worked in fashion publishing, things like that. Basically, I'm a writer. Now, my main sources of income are YouTube and Fiverr platform, where I offer consulting for people who are working in the fashion industry. Different things like reviewing portfolios, helping them with branding, mentoring them on how to elevate in their career, things like that. But that's very on and off. Like some months I have good projects. Sometimes there's 2 months where I don't have a single project. So it's very unpredictable. I also in the past earned some money with dog sitting, but that's also like it happens here and there. It's not a consistent thing. So I don't have a consistent income. I'm just kind of like floating floating on the little cash I have. Do I work remote? Yeah, I guess I do all the things that I do online except for the dog sitting when it's paid. Next question. How many languages do you speak? Let's see. I speak Slovenian. I would say Serbo-Croatian. I'm pretty fluent, I would say, but I keep forgetting stuff, so I have to refresh my memory. So for those who don't know, Serbian and Croatian are two different languages. I actually learned both in university, but when we were in Yugoslavia, it was like a mix of both. Serbo-Croatian, that was like the official language, and most of people in Slovenia, they speak the mix. They don't speak like Serbian or Croatian. A lot of people don't even know the differences. So I know the differences, but I just kind of like mix it up. So yeah, it can be an issue when you speak Croatian in Serbia and Serbian in Croatia, but most people don't care. And then I know basic Bulgarian, and then I know basic Spanish. I learned German for 4 years in high school. Because I didn't practice it, I forgot most of it, but I do understand when people are speaking. I just like forgot the vocabulary. So I don't know how many languages that is. And then every single country I go to, I learn like maybe 5 basic words like hello, cheers, thank you, goodbye, things like that. So I would know things in like Japanese, like arigato gozaimasu, kanpai, konnichiwa, sumimasen. Maybe that's it for Japan. But yeah, like it's just common courtesy that when you go to a country, you should learn a few words. So I try to do that. Next question. Can you live? Oh, this is also budget. Can you live in Bulgaria for 1,100 euros a month? And then overall, how cheap is it to live in Bulgaria? Again, this is gonna be my next video. Yes, you can definitely live on $1,100, I think this person said. How cheap it is, as cheap as you want it, or it all depends on like what kind of person you are and how lavish your lifestyle is. I used to live in Spain for like 100 euros per month or like 200 euros per month. Here I live for about maybe 300 euros per month. You can definitely live for more. Like it just depends like what kind of comfort and luxuries and things you want. It depends on your lifestyle. Like you can live for as little as you can or you want, or as much as you want. So I don't think there's a limit. If not Bulgaria, what other country would I choose to live in? Like I said, I lived in other countries before, so Bulgaria is not my first. I would definitely love to live in Slovenia just because my friends and family are there and I love them and I miss them. Before I moved to UK, I really wanted to live in Istanbul. I'm really over the cities now, so I don't think I will ever live in Istanbul. What other places do I want to live at? I would love to live in Albania. It's an amazing country. Where else? I love Spain. Honestly, if Spanish people were more acceptive towards expats right now, I would probably live in Spain because it's cheaper. Where else would I live? I like islands, so maybe somewhere on an island. Somewhere wild. Yeah, Morocco actually. I might make Morocco my winter base and see if I can, yeah, spend a couple of months there in winter. Who knows? Next question. Do you plan to help people with moving to Bulgaria? Like choosing the right property or land? Not really. I mean, I'm already helping a lot of people. Like there's so many people emailing me with questions about Bulgaria, and I think I pretty much answer every single email I get. But please, before sending an email, be considerate of my time. Like, I'm doing this all for free, so thank you. But to do it as like a real estate agent or something like that, no, definitely not. I have other plans. I definitely want to be more in the creative space like I was before, and I am still. um and also, like, I think finding a property for someone else is very difficult. Like, it's difficult for me. I've been looking for like a year and a half, but for someone else, I don't know, it's just very difficult because everybody looks for something different. So I don't know if I can get into that. I don't think so. How many times have you visited Bulgaria, Sofia city? A couple of times, but mainly it's just like a it's a city where you take a transport from. Like if I fly or take a bus to Slovenia, I have to go to Sofia. So I'm mainly just passing by. I'm not there to wander around or sightsee. I did that once and it was enough. I much more prefer Plovdiv and Veliko Tarnovo. They have really nice history, amazing architecture, nice bars. It's much more walkable. I mean, Sofia is also walkable. But yeah, Plovdiv with the historic center, wow, it's amazing. I love it. And I also love that it has these hills that you can climb and it's still very green, and yeah, really lovely. I highly recommend Plovdiv. And then I have some weird questions, like for how long I can hold my breath. I think this is a trick question, so not long. And am I related to George Bush Jr.? Not that I'm aware of, although there are some relatives on my dad's side, I think, that moved to US, and my brother once found someone, I think, but I don't think anyone's related to the Bush family. Not sure why this is important. I think this was all the questions. If you have any more, you know what to do. Comment. Thank you so much for joining this party. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Ta ta!